Its call is now being recorded.
Okay, so it is a kind of defensive mechanism by these plants, and for against, you can say, defense against the insects that are invading them. Because if you go to any crop land or any agricultural land, you will see that the farmers face many problems where the insects are coming and feeding on the plant leaves, stems, the crops, main crops, the seeds, as well as there are various weeds that will grow around the main plant, and it will take all the nutrients from the soil, leaving that plant to be malnourished, and the plant will die later on. So to protect itself from these weeds and insects and pests, the plant sometimes automatically for its self defense will be creating some toxicants, and those toxicants are called as phytotoxins. For example, there is sulfur compounds, caffeine, nicotine, morphine. Okay, all these things are kind of a secondary compound, plant compound, that has been produced. Some of the food that we consume also have these toxicants, but in very less amount. For example, the first one here, that is saffron. Saffron, can you see the picture of saffron? Black pepper.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So the saffron is basically a particular toxicant that is being seen in black pepper. If you consume it in a higher dose, it can form as a weak heptacarcinogen. So basically, what is heptacarcinogen? Cancer-causing agent of your liver. Okay, it can lead to liver cancer, liver carcinogenesis. Okay, and secondly, we have potatoes. Potatoes also have a kind of toxicants being produced in it, which is called as solanine. Solanine, whenever it is present in excess amount in a potato, the part of that potato will be turning green in color. If you have ever observed a potato, okay, which you are about to consume, if there is any green amount present in it, you should try and avoid to eat that part of the potato, because it will be having a high amount of solanine present in it. What will happen if you consume the solanine is, it will lead to food poisoning, it will lead to vomiting, and it will lead to diarrhea in the particular person who is consuming these potatoes having high amount of solanine. Other than that, it is also seen that these phytotoxins have resulted into livestock poisoning. Basically, what farmers do is, if there is a livestock coming from a neighborhood, to prevent their crops from being eaten up by those domestic animals or any surrounding animals which are herbivorous, what they do is they will line up their field with these toxicant plants. Okay, so it is leading, and whatever animal comes and start feeding, because always they feed from the boundary part of the field. So once they come and start eating it, the first plant they're going to eat is that poisonous plant, due to which the animal will die. So that has led to a high number of livestock poisoning. Now I'm just going to show you a video. If in case you're not able to see the video, let me know in the chat box. Okay, I'm starting the video.
This is a tomato plant, and this is an aphid, slowly killing the tomato plant by sucking the juice out of its leaves.
Can everyone hear it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
is audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Tomato is putting up a fight, using both physical and chemical defenses to repel the attacking insects. But that's not all. The tomato is also releasing compounds that signal nearby tomato plants to release their own insect repellent. Plants are constantly under attack. They face threats ranging from microscopic fungi and bacteria, small herbivores like aphids, caterpillars, and grasshoppers, up to large herbivores like tortoises, koalas, and external defenses that make them a much less appealing meal, or even a deadly one. Plants' defenses start at their surface. The bark covering tree trunks is full of lignin, a rigid web of compounds that's tough to chew and highly impermeable to pathogens. Leaves are protected by a waxy cuticle that deters insects and microbes. Some plants go a step further with painful structures to warn would-be predators. Thorns, spines, and prickles discourage bigger herbivores. To deal with smaller pests, some plants' leaves have sharp, hair-like structures called trichomes. The kidney bean plant sports tiny hooks to stab the feet of bedbugs and other insects. In some species, trichomes also dispense chemical irritants. Stinging nettles release a mixture of histamine and other toxins that cause pain and inflammation when touched. For other plant species, the pain comes after an herbivore's first bite. Spinach, kiwi fruit, pineapple, fuchsia, and rhubarb all produce microscopic needle-shaped crystals called rhaphides. They can cause tiny wounds in the inside of animals' mouths, which create entry points for toxins. The mimosa plant has a strategy designed to prevent herbivores from taking a bite at all. Specialized mechanoreceptor cells detect touch and shoot an electrical signal through the leaflet to its base, causing cells there to release charged particles. The buildup of charge draws water out of these cells, and they shrivel, pulling the leaflet closed. The folding movement scares insects away, and the shrunken leaves look less appealing to larger animals. If these external defenses are breached, the plant immune system springs into action. Plants don't have a separate immune system like animals. Instead, every cell has the ability to detect and defend against invaders. Specialized receptors can recognize molecules that signal the presence of dangerous microbes or insects. In response, the immune system initiates a battery of defensive maneuvers to prevent more pathogens from making their way inside.
मॅम व्हिडिओचा आवाज येत नाहीये.
When other parts of the plant detect these signals, they ramp up production of defensive compounds. And for some species, like tomatoes, this early warning system also alerts their neighbors. Some plants can even recruit allies to adopt a strong offense against their would-be attackers. Cotton plants under siege by caterpillars release a specific cocktail of 10 to 12 chemicals into the air. This mixture attracts parasitic wasps that lay eggs inside the caterpillars. Plants may not be able to flee the scene of an attack or fight off predators with teeth and claws, but with sturdy armor, a well-stocked chemical arsenal, a neighborhood watch, and cross-species alliances, a plant isn't always an easy meal.
Okay, so now you all have seen a small video on phytotoxin. What does phytotoxin basically means? And okay, now moving further, we will be talking about two types of phytotoxin which are being given in your syllabus. The first one is going to be caffeine, and the second one is nicotine. Now, basically talking about caffeine, we all know what caffeine is. Basically, we all have drink coffee, chocolates. Okay, it all contains caffeine. So knowing more about it, let's get started. So basically, what is caffeine? caffeine is a bitter, white, crystalline, purine substance. It is chemically related to adenine and guanine bases of DNA, that is deoxyribose acid, and RNA, that is ribonucleic acid. It is found in the seeds of nuts or leaves of a number of plants which were native to South America and East Asia. For example, coffee beans, as well as the plants, the two main plants which are cultivated to extract coffee beans, which is Coffea arabica and Coffea canephora. You can find these coffees, or basically the other source of caffeine is in the leaves of a tea bush. Normally the tea that we drink, okay, the tea leaves, they contain a high amount of caffeine, as well as cola nuts have high amount of caffeine present in it. Around 60 plant species are known to contain caffeine in them, and the common source is basically going to be the beans or the seed that is being collected to extract the caffeine from these particular plants. The caffeine is extracted by seeping the plant products in water, and this particular process in which the way it has been extracted, it is called as infusion. Okay. Moving further, we can be consuming, each one of us would be consuming caffeine in some or the other form. For example, coffee, tea, cola, etc. But then it is said that if coffee has high amount of caffeine, it is predicted that tea contains more caffeine than coffee by its dry weight have been calculated. Okay, now talking more about caffeine. Caffeine is stored in the leaves of the plants, two particular places in the plants. One is the cell vacuole. I hope everyone knows how a plant cell look like and what are the different components of a plant. Yes or no? Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So there is one particular, yes, okay. So there is particularly one particular organelle, cell organelle, which is called as food vacuole. Now these vacuoles are prepared to store the food prepared by the plant, but it not only stores the food prepared by the plant, but all the types of compounds which are being produced by the plant is going to be stored in the vacuole. Other than the vacuole, these caffeines are also stored in the vascular bundle. Okay, what is vascular bundle? These are the connecting, system between the cells. Like we have our capillaries and veins, which interact with each cell of our body. Similarly, vascular bundle in plants, they interact with each plant system. So even caffeine is stored in high amount in these vascular bundles. Okay, now we are talking so much about caffeine, but let's see what basically happens when we consume a caffeine, or why is this caffeine, so much of importance that we are studying it in our syllabus. So we will just go through a small little story. So hello everyone and welcome to our Caffeine Buzz Club. Caffeine Buzz Club tells you a story about a boy. Yeah? Rajatta? Okay, Caffeine Buzz Club basically tells you a story about a boy and his brain. His little brain has two friends in it. The one is called as adenosine and the other one is called as adenosine receptors. Whenever these two friends meet, they have a party like, mahal around them. So the adenosine comes up and says, hey bro, how are you? Let's party. And, adenosine receptor is all the time ready with his party hat and like, chalo, let's rock and roll. And so basically what happens when an adenosine meets the adenosine receptor is all the receptors, whenever your body is trying to relax or you're too much tired, all these adenosine hormones present in your body, the enzymes will go and sit over the receptors, and it will cause you to get a nice sleep or feel drowsy, feel a little lazy. And sometimes it helps you to have a very nice sleep. But sometimes, while you're working, you're in your class and you're feeling the same adenosine is coming and sitting on your receptors. What happens is you start feeling a little lazy. You are like, थोड़ा battery खत्म हो गया है, कुछ चाहिए चाहिए. We have this problem. And sometimes you're sitting in the class and तुम्हारी झपकी भी लग जाती है ऐसे. Like your brain starts asking you, hey, you're sleeping. And you're like, oh, shut up, yeah, let me sleep. Right? And देन अभी जैसे घर पे हो तुम लोग और ऐसे ही बैठे बैठे तुम लोग को कंटाला आ रहा है एंड एडिनोसिन आपके बैठ गए रिसेप्टर्स में, ऐसे आंखें बंद हो रही है, फिर अचानक से दिमाग बोलता है अरे उठो उठो, यू हैव अ असाइनमेंट टू बी डन, ओके, यू हैव असाइनमेंट टू कंप्लीट, एंड सारा नींद भाग जाता है बिकॉज असाइनमेंट का ड्यू डेट आ गया है. So what is the next thing that you will do? You'll start thinking, अरे यार नींद आ रहा है, क्या करे. So you will just go and have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea that will make you feel little fresh. But then what happens after consuming coffee? थोड़ा एक कॉफी का ग्लास पिया, थोड़ा और देर तक काम करना है, फिर और एक ग्लास ऑफ कॉफी लिया हमने, ओके. तो ऐसे करते करते रात भर असाइनमेंट किया, उल्लू के जैसे हमारी आंखें से बड़ी बड़ी सी हो जाती है आफ्टर कंज्यूमिंग कॉफी. बिकॉज हर बार आप कॉफी पीते हो, हर थोड़ा टाइम में आपका वो टाइम ड्यूरेशन, आपको इतने टाइम ड्यूरेशन के बाद आपको वापस कॉफी चाहिए होता है. बिकॉज इफ यू डोंट कंज्यूम कॉफी अगेन यू फील ड्राउजी, यू वांट टू गेट अ स्लीप. Okay, so basically what is happening in your brain system is जहां जहां वो कैफीन था वहां वहां वापस एडिनोसिन आ रहा है. बट ये कैफीन एंड एडिनोसिन का पंगा क्या है? Let's see further in the caffeine buzz. So what happens is when you're feeling tired and you consume a cup of yes.
मैम
Yes,
ये
Aniket.
दिसत नाही, स्लाइड दिसत नाही,
नहीं दिख रहा है.
अर्धीच दिसते.
एक मिनट. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can I continue then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So continuing the story here, when we're talking about caffeine, okay, this caffeine shows up in your brain. अभी तक तो सिर्फ एडिनोसिन था और एडिनोसिन का रिसेप्टर था. अब ये नया बंदा आता है कैफीन आके एडिनोसिन से बोलता है चलो भाई उसे छोड़ो, मेरे साथ पार्टी करने चलो, वो लूजर है, तुम्हें नींद आ जाएगी. सो वो आके हमारे ब्रेन में से ना उसे परेशान करता है. ब्रेन के रिसेप्टर्स आर लाइक अरे हाँ मुझे तो पसंद ही नहीं था, चलो पार्टी करते हैं. एंड आपका एडिनोसिन बेचारा वहां पे अकेला बैठ पड़ा रहता है. बट ये जो कैफीन बंदा है ना, ये ज्यादातर सर में रहता नहीं है, वो थोड़ी देर रहता है और फिर आपके ब्लड से चला जाता है. सो व्हाट हैपेंस, यू कैन सी इन द स्मॉल वीडियो ओवर हियर. जब एडिसन बैठता है आपको नींद आता है, ओके, एंड थोड़ी देर बाद जैसे ही कैफीन आएगा, you will see that the face of this little fellow will brighten up. He will be very more than happy when this caffeine comes up and sits on the receptors of the adenosine. Now there should be a question that whenever there is a receptors in our brain, okay, these antenna-like structures, how will they allow these caffeine to come and sit on the receptors? This is because your caffeine has the same molecular structure, okay, जो हम बोलते हैं lock and key होता है. If your receptor is a lock, then the adenosine or caffeine is the key. It will go and perfectly sit there and take the place of adenosine. तो क्या होता है, वो बाद में एडिनोसिन को बैठने ही नहीं देता है. उस वजह से मोर न्यू रिसेप्टर्स, अभी एडिनोसिन को आके बैठना तो है ही वहां, तो एडिनोसिन क्या करता है, वो ऑटोमेटिकली आपके ब्रेन को सिग्नल देता है एंड मोर न्यू रिसेप्टर्स फॉर एडिनोसिन इज क्रिएटेड एंड ऑल द न्यू एडिनोसिन विल कम एंड सिट ऑन द रिसेप्टर. एंड थोड़ी देर बाद क्या होता है, कैफीन तो कंज्यूम हो गया तो वो रिसेप्टर्स खाली रह गए. सो अगेन द एडेनाइन विल गो एंड सिट इन द ओल्ड रिसेप्टर. ओके, now but what happens जब कैफीन जितने देर के लिए आपके बॉडी में रहता है, वो क्या करता है, it will block the adenosine and this caffeine promotes the production of two natural stimulants. One is called as dopamine and one is called as glutamine. Now dopamine is called as a happy hormone, okay. Whenever your body is happy, there are two kinds of chemicals or enzymes or hormones basically that has been released in your body, that is called as dopamine and serotonin. So these are happy hormones, and basically whenever caffeine enters into your bloods and sits on those receptors, these dopamine, it will influence this dopamine to come out and get excreted in your body, due to which you will be in a very boost up mood. You will be very happy, you will be doing all your work very nicely. Okay, it reduces the risk of depression for a meanwhile. But what happens later on if that goes off? When your adenosine receptors are increased in your brain, you will feel more sluggish, more drowsy, more sleepy, like, okay, you don't want to do any work, anything. So that is the side effect of coffee. All the time you are like, coffee, coffee, it's our drink. If we can't have it, we can't think. This is what happens with the person. That person cannot be, consuming coffee, and then you become a coffee addict. You want coffee to do your work time to time. Okay, moving further, this caffeine is also called as trimethylxanthine. It is a central nervous system CNS stimulant. Okay, it is also called as the world's most widely consumed physioactive drug. Caffeine, it stimulates certain portion of the autonomous nervous system. The most prominent is it that it reversibly blocks the action of adenosine on its receptor. यानी adenosine का जो receptors होता है वो काफी देर के लिए उसे block करता है, but it is not an irreversible, it is a reversible blockage. That is थोड़ी देर बाद जब caffeine consume हो जाएगा blood के through, again the adenosine can come and sit on the receptor and consequently prevents the onset of drowsiness induced by the adenosine. Caffeine is moderately soluble in. क्या नहीं हुआ नया? कौन बात कर रहा है? किसकी आवाज सुन रही है तुम्हें?
मैम जोशी और पीटर.
क्या हुआ नया?
जोशी और पीटर.
ये तुम लोग पर मेरी तरफ से म्यूट किया है ना सबको, फिर कैसे आवाज आ रहा है तुम दोनों उन दोनों का?
यस मैम.
चैट पे चालू है, चैट पे.
पीटर, अनिकेत.
मैम मैंने क्वेश्चन पूछा, आपने आंसर नहीं किया. मेरे को क्वेश्चन था तो मैंने चैट पे पूछा.
क्या क्वेश्चन था? एक मिनट, क्या है? Yeah, it happens similar way when you consume a tea, because both of them are having the caffeine in it, right? So
but
even if you have
टी में ज्यादा अमाउंट ऑफ कैफीन होता है.
हाँ, अभी कैसा है, आप कॉफी, हम बोलते हैं ड्राई वेट में आप जब देखते हो तब टी में ज्यादा अमाउंट रहता है कैफीन का. बट इफ यू सी द प्रोसीजर ऑफ प्रिपेयरिंग बोथ द आइटम्स, जैसे कॉफी है, कॉफी फिल्टर कॉफी होता है, एक्सप्रेसो होता है, तो उसे बहुत ज्यादा हाई टेम्परेचर पे उबालते हैं, ड्यू टू विच द एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ कैफीन फ्रॉम दोस बीन्स बिकम वेरी इजीली आउट. बट वही अगर चाय के पत्तों को देखोगे, तुम लोग ज्यादा स्ट्रांगली नहीं उबालते उसे, ज्यादा देर तक हम नहीं उबालते. हम थोड़ा सा कलर आ गया तो हम बंद कर देते हैं. तो इट इज नॉट बीन मेड वेरी स्ट्रांगली, ड्यू टू विच तुम्हारा कैफीन जो तुम्हारे कॉफी से आता है, तुम कंज्यूम करते हो, तो वो कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ज्यादा रहता है कैफीन का उसमें कंपेयर टू योर टी. इवन चॉकलेट हैज हाई अमाउंट ऑफ कैफीन कंपेयर टू टी. ओके
Okay ma'am.
Siddesh, your doubt is clear now?
Okay ma'am.
I got.
Okay. So coming back to here, the fourth point, caffeine is moderately soluble in water at room temperature, about 2 grams per 100 ml, but it is very soluble in boiling water. अगर boiling water का रेशियो देखोगे normal water से, it is 66 grams per 100 ml. So जैसे जैसे तुम water को boil करते हो and उसके अंदर तुम उस beans को या चाय पत्ती को डालोगे, so the extraction process becomes, for the concentration of amount that is getting extracted from the beans to that water will be high in the boiling water than compared to room temperature or a normal water. Beverages containing caffeine are ingested to relieve or prevent drowsiness or to improve performance. For example, अभी chocolate भी, अगर तुम्हारा mood ठीक नहीं होता है, तुम क्या करते हो? Many of them, you have a habit of having a Dairy Milk chocolate or any chocolatey chocolates, you go and have it. और you will go and have, नींद आ रहा है, चलो जाते नीचे ब्रेक लेते, कॉलेज में थे तो क्या करते थे, नीचे जाते थे, कॉफी पी के या फिर चाय पी के आते थे. So this is how you have this and it will just relieve you from your adenosine and तुम्हें drowsiness से थोड़ा break मिलता है and you feel a little better when you consume these caffeines. Caffeine can produce a mild form of drug dependency. जैसे लोग drug addict हम कहते हैं, उनका कैसे रहता है, अगर उन्हें drugs नहीं मिला तो they become mad, they become very much destructive, they don't know what to do, they feel they are not capable of doing any work. Okay, they become very hallucinate, they try to hallucinate. That is a higher level of addiction. But even in tea, coffee, if you are the one who consumes it on a daily basis, so what will happen if you don't have tea for one day? Okay, आपने सुबह नहीं लिया, चलो सोचा कि आज नहीं करते, आज नहीं टाइम नहीं मिला चाय पीने के लिए, तो पूरा दिन तुम्हारा सर में दर्द रहता है, right? You have a headache the whole time. So this is a kind of dependency on this caffeine drug, which makes you feel a little lousy. Okay. Withdrawal symptoms include sleepiness, headache, and irritability. Even sometimes it can lead to many other problems. But even caffeine are present in chewing gums. Mint and chewing gum आता था पहले, उसमें भी थोड़ा amount of caffeine होता है. And there are also some medicines. Cold and flu कैसे medicines आते हैं. If you remember crocin, yes, who is that? कोल्ड एंड फ्लू के मेडिसिन आते थे पहले क्रॉसिन की तरफ से. इफ यू हैव सीन द इंग्रेडिएंट, दे हैव अ लिटिल अमाउंट ऑफ कैफीन इन इट in those medicines, and even in few medicines like migraine medicines, they have a little amount of caffeine. This has been introduced in a very less amount so that the person or the patient who is consuming it will feel little relaxed, and उसका जो drowsiness होता है medicine के दूसरे बाकी के component के power की वजह से वो थोड़ा relieve हो जाए. So okay, moving further, caffeine, it can be absorbed by the GI tract. GI tract is your gastrointestinal tract. The rate at which it is getting absorbed is 45 minutes में आपने जो भी consume किया है वो आपके पूरे GI tract के muscles या cells उसे absorb कर लेते हैं. The peak plasma concentration of caffeine can be achieved in 15 to 120 minutes. Depending upon person to person, the absorption rate can be little different, but in few people, if it is getting absorbed completely in 15 minutes, in few it will take around 120 minutes to get it to the plasma in a high level of concentration. है तुमने जितना भी कंज्यूम किया है वो तुम्हारे प्लाज्मा में हाई कंसंट्रेशन 15 से 120 मिनट्स में पहुंच सकता है. It passes this caffeine. It is a kind of a particular component which can pass through all the tissue membranes as well as cell membranes, and that is the reason why it can easily penetrate into your brain cells and attach itself to the receptors. Now, what are the problems or the effects of caffeine when you consume it? The first thing is caffeine promotes dehydration. कैफीन डिहाइड्रेशन यानी कि आप जब भी कैफीन पीते हो थोड़ी देर में आपको प्यास लगेगी, आपके बॉडी का जो वाटर है इट्स रिमूव्स, वाटर विड्रॉल रेट इज वेरी हाई फॉर कैफीन. Okay, and if a person who is not consuming water at a very high level, यानी पूरे दिन में ज़्यादा पानी वानी नहीं पीते हो, these people should try and avoid having these beverages for as much as possible. They should try and avoid these caffeinated drinks. Okay, because it can lead to dehydration. In spite, अभी हम कॉफी जब बोलते हैं एक कप कॉफी हम पीते हैं उसमें तो बहुत सारा लिक्विड आ गया, ये क्वेश्चन होना चाहिए. But even though it is made up in such amount of liquid, it quickly helps in dehydration of water from your body. So normally जिसको ब्लॉटिंग होता है, जिसे बोलते हैं ना ऊपर ऊपर आ रहा है, खाया हुआ ज्यादा हो गया है, that people can go and have a cup of coffee. So it will help them to उनका जो ब्लॉटिंग है वो कम हो जाता है. But in a normal person, it will lead to dehydration in your body. Okay. Other than that, it also leads to exhaustion of the adrenal glands. And जैसे ही adrenal glands को exhaust करता है, उसके सारे water वगैरह remove कर देता है, our system, the digestive system, it becomes very vulnerable and it cannot absorb any nutrient like magnesium, sodium. ये सारे जो components को absorb करना चाहिए था वो नहीं कर पाता है. And it also leads to this problem in your colons. The colon regulation of normal healthy bowel movement, it can be stopped or it can be interrupted. It can lead to constipation if you consume coffee or caffeine products on a very high amount on daily basis. Coffee also increases stomach acid level, and higher acid levels can cause permanent damage to your intestinal linings. Okay, now I have a list of few products here. I hope everyone can see. And against each this product, there is the amount of caffeine which is present. The first one is espresso. It is the coffee which you can see, go and get it in CCD. So espresso, normal coffee, yerba mate, energy drinks which are available, brewed tea, सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक्स, डीकैफिनेटेड टी भी जो होता है उसमें भी मिनिमम से मिनिमम 3 से 12 ग्राम मिलीग्राम का कैफीन प्रेजेंट रहता है. या देन कोका बेवरेजेस लाइक कोको कोला, पेप्सी, थम्स अप, as well as chocolate milk which is available, for example dairy milk. It also has 2 to 7 milligrams of caffeine present in it. Now moving towards the next part of the chapter, that is nicotine. Now I hope you all know nicotine is basically consumed in one form, that is cigarettes. People smoke out nicotine, and it is a kind of a drug which is being used by people. Okay, it helps. It is also a psychoactive drug. Nicotine constitutes approximately 0.6 to 3% of dry weight of tobacco. Okay, in tobacco जो chew करते हैं लोग या cigarette smoke करते हैं, it has 0.06 to minimum 3% of nicotine will be present in it. It is found in several species of plants. For example, nightshade family plants जो भी है, they all have a little amount of nicotine present in it. Okay, but जो plants में जो nicotine present है, it is not really in a very big amount that it will lead to some problem on consuming those plants. Okay, but basically जो tobacco है, okay, जो and जो cigarettes में जो tobacco use किया जाता है, they are mainly extracted from the leaves of Nicotina rustica. These leaves have around 2 to 14% of tobacco nicotine present in these leaves. So you can see the picture of this, the plant Nicotina rustica. The other plant in which you can see these nicotine is tobacco plant named as Nicotina tabacea, tabacum, Bombusia popodia, and Asclepias syrica. Okay, so these are the images of the different plants which are being used for extraction and preparation of your cigarettes, cigars. Okay, moving further, the few plants, okay, the vegetables that we eat or we consume, the few vegetables that we consume which have nicotine present in it is eggplant, potatoes, as well as tomatoes. But as I've said, the trace amount, they're available in very low amount, traceable amount, that is 200 nanogram per gram dry weight of these vegetables. So it is much safer to consume these vegetables if you're, alternately you're consuming these vegetables. So there is not so much of problem in it. Okay, talking about nicotine, again, this is a secondary component produced by the plant for its defensive purpose. And these chemicals were in initial days, it was also used as an anti-herbivore chemical and also used as an insecticide to kill the insects or pests that are growing on the field. It acts as a stimulant in mammals, while high amount 50 to 100 mg can be very harmful. This stimulant effect is contributing factor to addictive properties of tobacco smoking. Even tobacco chewing, it can lead to addiction of that. Nicotine addictive nature is basically, it is a psychoactive drug. Drug reinforced behaviors can be seen. Compulsive use can be seen. And that is the chain smokers, what we call. So they are compulsive using people. Replace after if there is someone who continuously smokes, and if you try to remove or you can say try to stop smoking, they have very difficulties, and they feel they are not able to do their work. Their brain is not functioning, they are not able to think creative, they are not able to breathe. So all these kind of symptoms, withdrawal symptoms, can be seen in those individuals. physical dependency and tolerance can decrease with having these nicotine consumption. Now, when we are talking about nicotine and these various drugs like caffeine, which are being produced by plant as a toxicant, but are used by human beings in some or the other form, how do they have such greater effect? Even if you take morphine or you say heroin, which is a kind of a drug which is being derived from plant material itself, but these plants are producing it in the form of insecticides or pesticides to control. It is being produced by the plant for its self defensive purpose, but हम क्या करते हैं, हम उसे extract करते हैं, उसे अलग तरीके से purified crystalline form में convert करके उसे अलग तरीके से as a drug it is being utilized in the society. So basically, how is this drugs affecting a particular individual who is consuming it? So here you can see a small flow chart which I have shown up. So when a person smokes the cigar or a cigarette, the nicotine present in those cigars or the cigarettes will enter the lungs. From the lungs, if you see our lungs, how our lungs, they have small alveoli, okay, which are connected to small capillaries of blood. These bloods are the one coming from your heart to your lungs to derive the oxygen and give back the carbon dioxide to your lungs. While taking, absorbing the oxygen, it is also going to absorb these nicotine from your lungs and it is going to pass into all the blood. And जो भी blood आपके lungs से निकलता है वो आपके heart में जाएगा and heart से वो आपके सारे body system में supply होता है and उसी दौरान वो आपके brain में भी enter करता है. But then the blood which is entering your brain, not all the components or not all the particles are allowed to enter in your brain tissue. There is something called as a blood-brain barrier. I have put up a small video in the notes. After our lecture gets over, you will get an update on the Google Classroom where I have given you the notes for today's lecture as well as 2 video links I have shared with you. One is related to caffeine, how caffeine affects the brain and what is the actual procedure. You can again see a video. If you still have any doubt, you can clear it from that video. And the other video which I have shared is on the blood-brain barrier, where it will show you how a particular component enters in your brain, even if your brain is controlled by a system which is called as blood-brain barrier. Not all the components which are coming through capillaries in your brain, okay, they are not completely getting absorbed. Even though our brain require nutrients, तो कुछ जगहों पे nutrients का आना allowed है, but कुछ जगहों पे वहाँ पे barrier होता है, तो वो enter नहीं कर सकता. बट जिन जगहों पे वो एंटर कर सकता है वहां के सारे नर्व टिश्यूज को वो डैमेज कर सकता है. Whenever nicotine and caffeine enters those allowed areas, they go and damage those tissue cells wherever they are entering. And this whole process, all the way from lungs to your brain, can take place in say 10 to 20 seconds also if you are very active while smoking or coffee पी रहे हो, फिर कहीं भागते हुए चले गए, तुम्हारा बॉडी का अगर मेटाबॉलिज्म हाई हो गया, रेट हाई हो गया, यू आर वर्किंग कंटिन्यूअसली, सो it can immediately get absorbed inside your brain cells. Okay, so here is the picture. You can see the first part, nicotine spreads through the body. Okay, in the second part, you can see the nicotine enters the outer capillaries and crosses the blood-brain barrier. You can see the small green color particles, which is entering small, cavities, which is present on the capillary and entering into the blood cells. Nicotine binds to the receptors on the brain cells and induces the release of neurotransmitter that leads to the addiction. वो तुम्हारे ट्रांसमीटर्स पे जाके बैठ जाता है एंड जैसे जैसे ये ट्रांसमीटर्स उसे यूज करना शुरू करते हैं, थोड़ी देर के बाद वो रिसेप्टर्स खाली हो जाते हैं एंड उस रिसेप्टर को अब फिर से वो चाहिए रहता है बिकॉज तुम्हारे ब्रेन को वो एक्टिव कर देता है. जैसे मैंने कहा, वो डोपामाइन एंड सेरोटीन को रिलीज करता है बिकॉज ऑफ विच यू हैव अ वेरी नाइस मूड, यू बिकम वेरी एक्टिव, you feel very energetic, so due to which you want that particular thing again and again. So similarly, these receptors to which these nicotines and caffeine go and attach itself will demand more of these nicotine and more of these caffeine being consumed by that particular person. But what are the side effects of nicotine? It releases adrenal rapidly all the enzymes which are present in the adrenal gland. It increases heart rate and blood pressure. Also induces constriction in the blood vessels. It can lead to blockage in the blood vessels because of deposition of various other components. It affects the absorption of various other components into your bloody vessels. Impairs your GI functioning, that is your gastrointestinal tract functioning. It can lead to cancer. Various different types of cancer can be caused by the smoking of cigarettes. Hematological side effects, that is problem or diseases related to blood, can occur in this particular individual. Dermatologic side effects can be seen in these individuals who consume it. Okay.